Okay, so now let's talk about the week 2 hands-on, which is really about learning more about your computer and how to do something fundamental that you'll use throughout this class. And it's called a print screen. It basically is a picture of whatever's on your screen, okay? So you're going to take a picture of your main desktop. You'll take a picture of an alternative. Now you might wonder why alternative, because in this class one thing I'll recommend is you have a backup plan. So backup plan means what other computer could I use if mine goes out. So just find one, and you know, if it's a lab one, that's cool. If it's a friend, somebody else besides your main desktop. Then I want you to get some basic information, which I'll show you how to get, about your main desktop. And then I want you to have a print screen also of a mobile device. Could be one you're using, one that you have access to. Doesn't mean you have to have one. There is just somebody in your life, I almost guarantee you, that has one if you don't. Okay? So let me walk you through this really important assignment. Okay, so here we go. So here is I set up already some of the required, but let's look at the instructions themselves, right? So take a print screen. So on the bottom here I've provided a print screen for how to do it on Windows, how to do it on Mac, how to do it on an Android, how to do it on a print screen. So I'm going to walk you through basically on Windows and Android because that's what I have access to. But I also use a Mac, and the instruction here is pretty good. There's just a keyboard combination that takes that print screen for you. Okay, so on Windows, okay, so let me just back up here, and then we'll resize it. And then in addition to, once you upload it, which I'm not going to show you how to do that because you already know how to do that from the last weeks. If you're not sure, go back and look. And then also I want you to give me some basic information. So let's do this part first. So on Windows there is, there is a thing called a snipping tool. Now I happen to have this one docked down here, but you can go start. And you either can do this, I love this feature, being able to just type and look for things. That's cool. The other thing you can do is start. Okay, you go all programs, accessories, and you'll find most likely the snipping tool. Now, if you don't have the snipping tool, you'll have to use an alternative method, and that link that I gave below for the Windows gives basically hitting a print screen button on a keyboard, and that will take a print screen, and then you have to capture it, so you can refer to those instructions as well. But there are apps out there available that you can get that does this if your computer doesn't. Older versions of Windows typically doesn't have snipping tool, but newer versions, most 7s and above have it. Okay? Alright, so I showed you this before, but and I only want your desktop, right? So, and by the way, if you have something on your desktop you don't really think is probably appropriate to share, then change it. So I'm going to do, in this case, I want a full print screen. What that means is the whole thing. There's actually another button to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save here. Right? I'm going to call it my desktop. Good. Okay, so now the next step is one we've actually already done, which is resizing it. I'm going to go to that place I showed you before, and I'll provide a link. Open, and in this case the question would be, where did that go? And I'm pretty sure it went in here. Oh, did I save it? Maybe I didn't save it. Oh, desktop again. That's where it's at. How fun is that? Okay, so actually it was on desktop. So I'm going to go, here it is. Okay, so this file is 1919. Now, by the way, that's basically the resolution. It's only a little bit off because I took it manually. I'm going to change the image size to, first number would be 640. Okay, now the second number will change automatically based on constraints, which we've already talked about. And then you hit File, Save, right? I'm gonna keep it as the same name because I don't care if it overwrites it. Yep. Alright, so that's the first one. So now what do you do with that? You upload it, right, and provide us a link. Right? Again, we've done that. Now give me some basic information. What's your operating system? How much RAM do you have? And how big is the hard drive? Or maybe in this case, how much space do you have left? That's actually a more important number. It's pretty easy to find this stuff on almost every computer. Oh, there's Windows. You go Start, Computer, or My Computer, right click, go to Properties. So in this case, I'm not going to make you take a print screen. I just want you to provide the basic information. So I'm running Windows 7, in this case Enterprise, important to tell us that. I'm running Let's see. Here we go. Here is the amount of RAM, which is 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, in this case, I don't, so first two items would be Windows 7, 8 gigs of RAM. Cool. And the other piece, I could have done it from that same screen, is go into Computer, right click, and actually you can see it there, is out of a total of 119 available, a whole 119 capacity. I have, in this case free, 67 gigs available. Okay, these are just important, like basic information things that you need to know about a computer. It's like, what operating system is it, how much RAM is on it, and how much hard drive space. I have a rule, I keep mine at 50% free because Windows is just like that, it runs better. Okay, alright, so let's go back to the instruction here. Now, I'm not going to step through this because this is basically the first step, but the key to this step is find that alternative computer. Maybe tell us a little bit about where is that located or what's your plan on that, because that'll be part of the writing that you can do here. Okay, so now let's talk about taking a print screen of a mobile device. Now, I've provided in the instructions some links, but I'm actually going to show you on my Android device how we do this. So I'm going to switch a couple things up. I'm going to switch to that. I'm going to switch to what's called an Elmo here in the classroom. Okay, I thought I was. There we go. And I'm going to then turn on my device here. There we go. Should be able to see it. So I'm running Android latest version. In this case, it's a Moto G, but most Android devices, here's what you do. You hold down the power. Okay, so in this case, it's the power button. And at the same time, you hit the volume down. And when you do that, it takes the print screen. If you saw it, it actually went by there pretty quickly. Okay. And in this case, it captures the print screen. It even gives me the option to share it. So now where would I share it? So in this case, I'll just put it up on Drive, right? Drive makes sense because I've already shown you how to do it. I could change the name if I wanted to. I'm going to leave it there. I could even tell it what folder I wanted, but I'm just going to hit save. And I'll go back over to the other one in a minute. Now on the mobile device, it also is good to know how to find what is the operating system for that. So in what version? So I'm going to go up on my device. I'm going to go up to the top. Okay. Again, there are so many different kinds of mobile devices. This would be something you just have to figure out. I'm going to go to the gear. And under the gear, I'm going to scroll down to the About Phone. Okay. And About Phone, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see I'm running the latest version of Android 1.11. Okay. So let me come back to here. All right. So that is, in this case, good. All right, so we've done, so you uploaded that. Let me show you that. Okay, so we uploaded that. So now let's see if that showed up. Up on my drive. Let's refresh my drive and let's see if, because it may just be lagging a little bit because of being in here. But when it does, because I've done this before and I know it works, it'll show up on my drive directory and then I can just share it like we've done before. Okay, so on the mobile device, I want you to tell me just what your OS is. Although it is good to know that other information is how much RAM and hard drive space, and really it's easier to find hard drive space on most devices. So in this case, right, if you I'll provide also some links. I did provide links for how to do iOS print screen here, so that should be helpful to you. Okay, so when you complete your post, here's kind of, I just begun it so you could see here, right? So you have a link to your main desktop print screen that you've resized. You'll have a link to your backup system, again, uploaded and resized, right? And then you'll have a link to the mobile device, uploaded. In this case, I'm not going to make you resize it. All right. So once you do all those and you tell us about, you know, your operating system and RAM hard drive, you don't have to do it here, but here, tell us if you can, you know, find what operating system you're using in your mobile device. And if you can, find how much storage you have, because that's the other thing we often run into on mobile devices is, you know, how much, I did this the other day. I just had to buy this phone because mine went swimming and didn't live to tell the tale. It's kind of a funny story, maybe I'll tell you sometime, but anyway, so I had to go get another one, and the only one I could have that I wanted that was available immediately had 8 gigs of RAM. Well, that quite wasn't enough for all my devices or all my apps, so what I did is I got a micro SD card. So it's important to understand on any device how much space you have so that you know what you can load. Okay, hopefully you've had fun with this assignment. You've learned something about your computer. You've learned some more skills that we'll use later on in the course. All right, see you later.